This is an FIE Composer 2.0 help video. The main topic is light and environment, and this video is on the horizon. So I'll just head out to Composer where I have something set up here. So one common problem in sort of illustration and pre-visualization is something that's known as a false horizon, where you accidentally visualize something where you don't understand where the horizon line is, and you end up either looking at a far distant ground or too much sky because you didn't quite figure out the world correctly. And the best way I can illustrate this, I mean, obviously, here's a guy standing on a relatively small ground plane. If I were to draw the horizon line for the scene across the back here and use that as a compositional element in my shot, I would have it incorrect because actually you can tell just from the grid that if the ground were twice as long, or if for that matter infinite, the horizon wouldn't be down here, it would be up here. And in fact, if this thing were then twice as big as that, it would probably be up here and up there and up there. That unless you actually have a proper, mathematically correct infinite horizon line, you don't really know where the horizon is going to be. So one thing that's often done, which is a mistake, but people do it anyway, is they grab the ground plane, such as it is, maybe like this, and they make it very, very large. So they say, well, this is too small, obviously, so I'll just make it, twice as big. And then they move forward thinking that maybe that's a correct horizon line, except that we know that it isn't. Again, there's a bigger horizon line just created by the grid, so we know it's not right. So we say, okay, maybe we'll make it really, really, really big. And it's moving, and it's moving. But we know that you can just keep making it bigger, and it just keeps moving. And you run into problems if you just make this object so ridiculously large that it's effectively infinite. It's just not manageable. So in Composer, we've added a piece. Its purpose is to just do this for you. It's called the horizon, and so if we just go into pieces, add a piece, and look for the horizon piece, just call it horizon, you'll see we get an infinite horizon line. It's a slightly darker gray than the black sky, and you can see, I mean, it's really far out there. It is actually technically infinitely far, the way that I've rendered this. But now you can be sure that if you want to use the horizon line as a compositional element, that it's always going to be visualized as being infinitely distant. It's in the correct place, and you can actually count on it rather than have to count on the size of an arbitrary ground object that you've put in that may not really be large enough. And I think as we move around here, you start to realize just how big this ground plane would need to be made to actually be even close to being in the right place to show you the correct horizon line for your composition. So that's it. That's the horizon piece, a useful tool for illustration and composition.